Hello, friends. Josh Johnson here. We are live on Facebook and YouTube, and we are talking storms, mainly damaging wind-producing storms. We have over 100, I think right at 100,000 power outages right now in the state of Alabama. So it's a big problem. We thought this would be the case, that there would be power outages. Looks like the last number is around 103,000 people without power now, and it's all due to an intense line of thunderstorms that is moving pretty quickly across the state. Let me show you the line now. Here it is. Let's start at the north side of this line. We will begin in east central Alabama, Heflin. The line right now is in Georgia up near Mentone. So from around Galesville and Cedar Bluff back down to Heflin, and then from there into much of Randolph County, Wedowee and Wadley, Southern Union, getting popped hard. That's headed towards Roanoke, by the way. So if you live in Randolph County, it's this thin red line. Look, all of this is heavy rain. All of this is heavy rain. This is what we're concerned about, though. This is where we've got some strong wind happening. That strong wind core within that line is moving east very rapidly. So this is going to be in Georgia pretty soon. Back down into far eastern Tallapoosa, the core of the line now through Daviston and Camp Hill. The weather there will stay wet and windy, but it will improve over the next little while. Notasulga getting hit now, but what's next? Waverly, Lochapoka, Auburn, Opelika, Lafayette, Buffalo, 5 points. So eastern Macon, western Lee, and much of Chambers County. You're next. Heavy rain, thunder, lightning, and strong wind. The wind speed in this still pretty consistently 45 to 55 miles per hour with higher gusts. Trees will come down in spots. Power will go out in spots. So just be prepared and understand what you're going to deal with. That's not the end of the line, though. It keeps going from there, bending through downtown Tuskegee right now. Really tough last 20 minutes or so in Tuskegee. From there, it curves back into western Bullock, eastern Montgomery County, western and northwestern Pike, from Orion and Petrie and Laverne back down to Brantley and Crenshaw County. And then we're on the Birmingham radar here because Maxwell went down. We'll switch over to southeast Alabama. That was Fort Rucker, and are they changing that back now? I don't know. I'm not a political guy, so I don't want to call it the wrong thing and offend someone. So I'm going to call it the southeast Alabama radar until we figure all this out. I think it's still Fort Novacell. I don't think they've changed that one yet, but again, don't shoot the messenger. Southeast Alabama radar, we'll go with that, right? Stamp that one in. The line there goes back down through Brantley, Dozier, Andalusia, Carolina, down into Pleasant Home, Carolina, and Dixie in Escambia County, and then from there on down into the Florida Panhandle. Milton, Navarre, coming into Fort Walton Beach pretty soon. The good news is there's not a single tornado warning up and down this entire line right now. This is exclusively, at this moment, a damaging wind scenario. The line is moving very quickly east, though. This is not a problem or a situation that's going to be with us a lot longer. Let me show you. This is the latest run of the rapid refresh model. It's initializing well, right? 11 p.m., it's got the line essentially where we said just now. Pardon me. So here is where we sit at midnight. This is the midnight position of the squall line right here. So it would be more like Valley, Lynette, into Auburn and Opelika, Union Springs, Troy. If anything, I think this is too slow. I think it may actually be a little east of these locations by midnight. But we'll say 11 to midnight, Auburn, Opelika, Valley, Lynette, Union Springs, Troy, Brundage, New Brockton, Brantley, Opp, 11 to midnight. Midnight to 1, this moves on through Phoenix City, Seal, Hurtsboro, on and towards Eufaula, Clio, Geneva, Elba and Enterprise, Midland City, and Ozark, and Abbeville. Again, that's around midnight to 1. At 1 to 2, it's exclusively by that point in Henry and Houston counties. Pardon me. And then not long after that, this is 3 o'clock. I think it's out of the wiregrass by 2. And that might be generous, right? This thing is really just trucking. So that's where we are right now. A very fast-moving line of storms producing damaging straight-line wind gusts kind of up and down the entire state right now. We have dealt with, we have a tornado watch in effect for some counties, a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for others. It is extremely confusing. You've got some counties sandwiched between a tornado watch. They're in a severe thunderstorm watch. So we'll skip all the formal watches right now. Just understand everywhere along and ahead of that line, there's a risk of damaging wind gust and a brief tornado. Period. The end. What do you need to do? Well, you need multiple reliable ways of getting weather warnings. Plan ahead of time where you'll go in the event of a tornado warning. And other than that, just kind of pay attention to the weather for a little while. If you want to go to sleep, if you have a NOAA weather radio and you can get to your safe place quickly, sure, go ahead. Go to sleep. That's the beautiful thing about a weather radio. I talk a lot about weather radios and say a lot of nice things about them. I don't get a dime from selling a weather radio, just so you know. There's no kickback or anything weird like that with it. The only reason I'm such a fan of it personally, they save lives, but I can tell my family, sure, go to sleep. And then they're not all cranky and in a bad mood the next day because I know I can't be there. I'm here. It's going to wake them up if they need to be awakened, right? If there's a warning issued by the National Weather Service, then the National Weather Service will also trigger NOAA Weather Radio, and boom, it'll wake them up. It's $35 so you can go to sleep on nights like tonight. Make a long story short there. All right, so what am I looking at here? These are wind speeds and gusts. I'll blow this up so you can see it. Check it out. Montgomery Regional Airport, with the line of storms that came through earlier, looks like the fastest gust I see is 45 miles per hour. That's some honking wind, man. Now, notice, though, all day, we had a gust of 41 at 8 o'clock before it even started storming. 35, 33, 30, 35, 39. And that was at 4:30 in the afternoon. It has been an exceptionally windy day. We had tens of thousands of power outages in Alabama before the first storm even arrived. And that was exclusively because of straight line wind gust, non-thunderstorm wind gusts associated with what's called the pressure gradient. This is a deep, powerful cyclone that's forming, an area of low pressure. And as a result, there's actually a huge pressure gradient. Air wants to flow from high pressure to low pressure as fast as it can. Friction slows it down. The Coriolis effect bends it to the right in the northern hemisphere. But bottom line, if you end up with a really deep area of low pressure, it's going to be really windy, even away from storms. And that we've seen that today in a big way. All right, so I'll keep looking at the data here. But look, this is a so far so good kind of scenario, quite frankly, for a lot of us. There's damaging wind, yes, but we're not seeing any really significant rotation. Let's do a little looking. Okay, so look, this is exactly what we want to see. See how you could draw a line here, and on one side of that line, there's all red, and on the other side of that line, there's a big corridor of green. You don't see them really kind of locking together, coupling up, right? It's not where red touches green. I hear that in a lot of severe weather coverage that I watch. Red touches green all the time. So it's not where red touches green, it's where they lock together, right? So we don't see any of that. This is as straight a line as it gets. This is a straight line wind scenario. Now, that said, what we look for there, if there's no interlocking red and green, we would look for little notches, right? And you see one right there. You can see a little one, maybe a broader one right there. So there is some very, very minor mid-level rotation in some of the storms over Pike County right now. So it's something to watch, but it's not something that you don't need to get into your tornado safe place right now. You don't need to freak out. You don't need to do anything like that. So just let me do the worrying on that. I'll keep an eye on it. But right now, we don't see any kind of overwhelming rotation. And remember, to prompt a tornado warning, right? Lots of storms rotate. To prompt a tornado warning, the rotation has to be deep and persistent, meaning radar gives us slices of a storm. When I say the rotation is deep, I need to see it up and down throughout that storm. It doesn't need to just be one slice. The rotation also needs to be persistent. I need to see it in multiple radar scans. Shallow rotation or a quick little blob of rotation that goes away after a scan or two, that's not enough to make me think there's a tornado there. That's not enough to make the National Weather Service think there's a tornado there. And remember, the National Weather Service is who issues the tornado warnings, not me. I take their information, their warnings, their data, analyze it, interpret it, and communicate it. So that's everyone's kind of job there, everyone's kind of role there. All right. I'm going to regret this, but let's look into the comments now. Where dreams go to die, right? Maybe not. Connecting into YouTube and Facebook and all the fun. Josh, I appreciate you. Wetumpka has calmed down and my doggy is good now. Good. I am glad to hear that. Kenneth, my man, after 36 years, I went and picked up my weather radio today. Great job. Hopefully you didn't need it tonight, but I will tell you this. It is inevitable in Alabama. There will come a day where you will go, that weather radio was the best $35 I've ever spent. Either it will sound and alert you and save your life, which is awesome, or it will give you, again, the peace of mind to know you can go to sleep on a night like tonight and you'll wake up feeling bright-eyed and bushy-tailed in the morning, which there's something to be said for that as well. So, lots of questions, people asking about specific towns, because that's what we do. People saying they're very confused. I'm confused about the confusion. How about that? What does that mean exactly? I'm confused about the confusion. I think it's a pretty straightforward scenario we're in right now, but I will kind of recap it using the radar here, right? So you have a line of storms right here. Let me zoom out so everyone's involved. Everyone that watches us is in this. So here's your line of storms right here. Everywhere left of that blue line, Montgomery, Prattville, Millbrook, Tallahassee, Dadeville, Alex City, Wetumpka, Selma, Valley Grande, Camden, Lounsboro, Greenville, Demopolis, Linden, Marion, Uniontown. The weather's fine. It's windy and there's leftover rain. There's no reason for concern. Everywhere along and right of that line of storms, there is a risk of damaging wind gusts and power outages. There is also a low but not quite zero risk of a brief tornado forming. Again, along and ahead of that line. So hopefully that helps with some of the confusion. Maybe you're saying you're confused about the whole severe thunderstorm watch warning thing, because yeah, that is confusing. I'm with you on that. So that's where we are. Yes, Kelly, the worst is over in Alex City. New Brockton, it's on its way. The worst of it there will be between 11:30 and 12:30. Then it'll get better. It's loud here in Andalusia. I believe that. Yeah, the worst of it's over Andalusia right now. Your situation will improve soon. Andalusia. This will all get better very soon. Andalusia, give it 11:45, and life will be much, much better for you. I'll just sit here and kind of roll through the questions and comments and all of that. Clorinda says, my weather radio will wake the dead. No sleeping through that. Yeah, I believe that. I drank my Sunkist Zero already, so now I've transitioned over to Diet Mountain Dew. I do hope you'll forgive me for taking a drink there. That's the point of these things, though. You get to see kind of a side and an angle that you don't get on TV, right? Elmore County's done. You're over with the risk of severe weather. Jonathan, my man, Big J up in Prattville. Yeah, the worst of it's done there. Where are we at in Beauregard? The worst of it will arrive there in about 10 minutes. 11:30 to midnight, the window in Beauregard. It's mainly just heavy rain and a lot of wind. We don't see any rotation. Montgomery's good. Will the warning be extended for Auburn? Probably so. In fact, I think it already has been. Yeah, Savannah says, JK, they just did. Yeah, so I glanced over as I saw the question there, and they had already popped the polygon up. So real strong winds in Elba, I buy that. It's about to get stronger. Worst of it's still a little ways out in Elba. Macon County, it's over you now. The worst of it is east of Tuskegee, out around Little Texas and Alliance. It will keep moving east rapidly. For Tuskegee and points west, the risk of severe weather is ended. Eastern Macon, we still have the risk of some damaging wind gust. But even there, give this midnight and this will be out of Macon County. Will the warning be extended into Barber County? Probably so, yeah. I anticipate a severe thunderstorm warning for Barber County to be issued in 15, 20 minutes, maybe less. Goshen's getting rough. Fort Mitchell. What about Dadeville? Covington. Monica says she blew at me today at East Chase. I was at East Chase today, in the storm tracker, no less. So I was actually part of the Mardi Gras parade at Danley Elementary School very early this morning. Was there at 8:30? Well, 8:35, I guess, to set up. The parade started at 9. We had a great time. Any chance we see sunshine tomorrow? Yes. Daleville Enterprise, what time will the worst be? I think the worst of it there is between midnight and 1. Should I wake my kids and take them to the bathroom? No, you should not. In Auburn, the main concern is damaging wind gust. If you stay inside your home and away from windows, odds are very good you'll be just fine. Is it over with for Fort Mitchell? No, it is not over with quite yet. What's the time frame for Coffee County look like? It's arriving in the northwestern part of the county right now. The worst of it will be now through 12:30, maybe 12:45, just to be safe. It's not moving quite as fast in southeast Alabama. Sounding like our windows are being pressure washed here in Troy. I buy that. Worst of it's over Troy right now. Let me show you radar here. It's yeah, right there, right over you. Yeah, the leading edge of it coming right into Troy right now. Lots and lots of strong wind in this. Let me pull up velocity, see if we see any rotation in this. We don't. The first thing you would look for would be little notches. And you see one there, there's one there, there's one there. But you notice there's really not a lot of inbound wind, right? There's a little red notch for the outbound. There's not much inbound wind at all. So I wouldn't even go so far as to call that weak rotation, right? That's just something I'm watching would be maybe the way to describe that. We do not see any sign of any significant rotation at this point. What we do see consistently, though, some really strong straight line wind signatures. I'm talking up at cloud level, 65, 75, 80 miles per hour. Some of that about 80% of that makes it down to the ground. That's a ballpark number. It changes based on a lot of things, but that's the general idea. So again, widespread 45 to 55 mile per hour gust. I would anticipate a significant amount of power outages as this thing comes on through. There you see the animation. So what you're looking at here, this is a wind velocity product. So green is where the wind is blowing towards the radar. In this case, the radar is down at Fort Novacell, so it's blowing this way. Red is where it's blowing away from the radar, right? So you're getting inflow ahead of the line of storms. The actual line of storms is right there. Inflow fueling the storms out of the south is blowing up from the south like that. And then on the backside of it, you've got the wind is shifting around to the northwest pretty rapidly. So there you go. Russell asked a question, how bad would this have been if dew points were high? It's a tough question. There's a lot that goes into that, but I suspect if dew points had been higher today, we would have had multiple tornadoes and probably some strong ones. You had quite a bit of wind shear today, particularly in west and southwest Alabama. The wind fields, the kinematic fields, the dynamics, all of that was very strong. You did not have a lot of surface moisture, right? The dew point was low. You also did not have extremely cold air aloft. However, I think we've been able to kind of overcome that limiting factor. So my suspicion is higher dew points probably would have led to a pretty significant tornado episode today. But it's an opinion. Nell keeps saying Tallapoosa County is okay in all caps. Yes, you are. Just some rain, that's all. The worst of it is through Tallapoosa. Tallapoosa, you now have an all clear. All clear for Elmore. All clear for Coosa. All clear for Chilton. All clear for Autauga. All clear for Montgomery. All clear for Lowndes. All clear for Butler. All clear for Conecuh. All clear for Escambia. All clear for Monroe. All clear for Clark. All clear for Wilcox. All clear for Marengo. All clear for Dallas. All clear for Perry. All clear for Bibb, Shelby, Chilton, Talladega, Clay, Calhoun, St. Clair, Jefferson, Etowah, Blunt, Coleman, all clear. Really, anywhere in Alabama that is behind that line, left of that line, you're all clear. Let me show you. There you go. Behind that line, you're all good. Caleb asked who else is taking notes. Let me know if you are. Courtney says, my son wants to become a meteorologist because of you. Thanks for all you do, Josh. Well, Courtney, I appreciate that. And I would love to help encourage him any way I can. In fact, if you want to email me, we could set up a time for you or any parent or guardian and your son to come visit us here at the TV station. We can show him all the equipment we use, all the computers we use, what kind of delicious snacks we're eating these days. We'll show him Storm Tracker. It'll be fun, I promise. So we'd love to have him. Just email me. It's just josh.johnson@gray.tv, and we'll set that up. Why was Montgomery in the red on that chart? Because it was a velocity chart. It was showing you how the wind was blowing. And way up above, that radar angle was from southeast Alabama. So by the time the beam gets to Montgomery County, it's over a mile in the air. And way, way, way up there, the jet stream is blowing away from the radar. So that's why it looked red. Don't let that worry you. There's no need. Montgomery County is all clear. No more severe weather for Montgomery County. Lee County. Worst of it's over you now. It's over Auburn right now. Show you what it looks like there. That's into Lee. I know the county lines are hard to see. I'll draw them as best they can. I am not an art guy, so bear with me. That's Lee right there. The worst of its pass is going right up Pepperell Parkway right now. The leading edge of it is over Niffers and East Alabama Regional and Beauregard. Lots of wind, lots of rain, lots of lightning. These are rowdy, they're loud, they are not rotating. There's a risk of damaging wind, and that's about it. Cheryl says, I'm confused on how to get you on live stream from the TV app. Okay, so I wish I had the ability to go do that for you right now. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll make a video for that. I'll make a video of how to access these live streams on the smart TV apps tomorrow. When I get home and I'm near a TV, I'll just show you how to do it. Right now, we are only live on Facebook and YouTube. Crenshaw spelled out vertically. That'll make me answer your question for sure. Still some risk of damaging wind in the far east, but mostly, Crenshaw County, it's mainly just rain at this point. Windy rain. Chambers, storms on the way, right? They're over you now. Valley and Lynette are still out ahead of it. I'll draw the outline of Chambers on the map here. Again, my art teacher is probably really mad right now. I don't know. She probably saw from a very young age that I have absolutely no artistic potential. Worst of it's right over Lafayette, 5 points. Buffalo, it's moving east. Valley and Lynette, the core of the wind and rain will arrive. It's already raining. The strong winds will arrive there at around 11:40, so about 8 to 10 minutes from now. Beauregard, we've already discussed. Storms, heavy rain, no rotation, lots of wind. Highland Home, it's through. We're not seeing any hail. Will you read us a bedtime story after this is over? Yes, sure. That sounds great. Elba, core of it coming into Elba within the next 30 minutes. Let me take you there live. We will switch off the Birmingham radar and get in over here to the Elba area. So the worst of it is still back here. This is Elba right out here. It's moving east pretty quickly. It's pouring rain already. In about 5 minutes or less, the wind is going to kick up and the weather's going to get pretty rough there in Elba. Tremendous rain, tons of thunder, tons of lightning. Josh, my friend Annie from Opelika stays up with you every time there's a weather alert night. Please give her an honorary diploma. Sure, yeah, we can do that. Sounds fun. Some kind compliments. I won't read those out loud because that seems kind of arrogant and vain. But I appreciate all the kind words being said. Thank you very much. We do see those. We see the kind ones. We see the unkind ones. I usually don't respond to the unkind ones. Every now and then, if I'm cranky, I will. I apologize for that. But it's all in good fun. So that's where we are right now. Pardon me. Ooh, man. I was a little sick last week, and I'm still not 100%. But our staffing situation kind of makes it where that doesn't matter. The simple answer is, I don't really have the time to be sick. Okay, this will be fun to do. Let's look at this. Okay, so look, there's storms tonight. I'm not ignoring the storms tonight. In fact, I'll show you exactly what I'm doing with all of this. So I'm going to show you something different. But look, we're going to look at what's happening next week. That's going to be on that computer right there. But you can't see it until now you can. Right beside that, I've got the radar up, and I leave that on the radar all the time. So I'm going to be looking and showing you things on this computer. But I'm also going to keep an eye on this. You're not going to see it on your screen, but I promise I'm going to be using both sources there. So I want to show you and walk you through what happens next. March, I suspect, is going to be a pretty active go of it. In fact, it's actually very active right now. This storm system that's causing all the headaches for us is actually a pretty big troublemaker in general. Look at this. 982 millibar surface low over northern Missouri tonight, trailing cold front into Alabama, bringing us storms. Blizzard warnings in effect from Kansas City back up into eastern parts of Minnesota, western Iowa, northern Wisconsin, into the UP of Michigan. Big, mean snowstorm up there. So let's walk you through this day by day. The storms exit here quickly. Look at all these lines packed together, though. These solid black lines you see on the map here, those are called isobars. Isobars are lines of equal pressure, and when they are packed together like that, that means there's a lot of wind, and I mean a lot of wind. So it is going to be very windy again tomorrow. Let me drive home that point. Wednesday is going to be very windy. And yes, it rained tonight. However, I still wouldn't burn anything, right? I mean, it's raining. That's helpful. There's no official guidance saying you can't burn anything tomorrow. There's no burn ban. Get your permits. Do what you're supposed to do there. But gosh, it's going to be really windy. So windy and noticeably colder too, by the way. Temperatures Wednesday are going to, we've got 65 as a high. That will happen at midnight. Afternoon temperatures Wednesday will probably be in the 50s most of the day, with snow flurries flying as far south as the Cumberland Plateau and the Smoky Mountains of eastern Tennessee. Okay, so fast forward. Little upslope snow event, by the way. This is the kind that Mount LeConte and the highest peaks in the Smokies can actually get several inches of snow tomorrow and into Thursday. No snow here. Next wave of low pressure kind of dampens out as it moves east, but the trailing front with that eventually kicks off a new surface low over Texas. That surface low is weak and moves right over us. That will bring us our next rain chance after tonight, with some showers during the day on Saturday. I'll show you the European model in a minute so that we can kind of slice and dice this, but that's the idea. Some scattered showers on Saturday and Saturday night, then a sprinkle or two Sunday, and then, oh, by the way, more mountain snow Sunday into East Tennessee, western North Carolina as that surface low moves to the south and then off the Gulf Coast. Then we're dry Sunday night, Monday. Tuesday is dry. Wednesday, we get a really deep area of low pressure, but there's not a lot of moisture return initially. So not a ton of rain with that at this point in the guidance. That could change. If we get more moisture return in subsequent runs, we may see a little more green on that map, a little more rain in the mix there. But this takes us out through next Thursday, March the 12th into the 13th. The anniversary of the blizzard of 93, by the way. How about that? The 32nd anniversary. Man, we're old. You know that? Big trough dives into the west. Mountain snow. And then look at this. This is way out there, but this would be on Friday the 14th. Big, huge, sprawling, strong storm system. I mean, a monster. With the trailing cold front. We would need to see a little more moisture return for severe weather, but, just synoptically, anytime you're seeing a 971 surface low northwest of you, you would need to be concerned about some thunderstorms. And then that would usher in yet another shot of cold air around the weekend of the 15th and 16th. Potentially another frost and freeze scenario in that, right? Right. So that's the latest run of the GFS. That's the main long-range American computer model. The European's not out yet, so I'm not going to show you that. But the idea here is that we are going to see, I think, a very active March. That's not uncommon. That's not unusual. That's nothing crazy. But it's going to be a very active March. You're going to have a lot of deep troughs, a lot of strong surface areas of low pressure, a lot of jet stream energy. I think you're going to see more thunderstorms. I think you're going to see more cold air. I don't think you need to plant your gardens or your plants or your flowers yet. I think we're going to have more frost and more freeze issues well into March. So that was fun, huh? But that's the long range. The long range. Point A area in Covington County, can I go to sleep? Yes, worst of it's past you. Is the weather over with in Butler County? Yes, worst of it's past you. Any chance we see sunshine tomorrow, Josh? Yes. Very real chance that you will see the sun. Winds hitting us in Valley, Beulah, sky falling in Eufaula. I've watched you since I was a kid, and I guess that's why I prefer to watch you over anyone else. Hunter, thank you. Hunter and Katie, thank you. I appreciate that. I do feel a bit old when I read that, but that's okay. Your only choices are get old and don't get old, and I want to choose get old. So here we are. Is Auburn okay now? Okay is not the right word. It's still storming there. Let's switch over to Birmingham. That's going to give us our best look in. Actually, in Auburn, Peachtree City is probably a better choice. A little closer anyway. So the worst of it's through Auburn. Yeah, the weather's still not good. I know this is maybe a little hard to read. That's Auburn right there. The worst of the line has already passed through there, but it's still raining really hard. It's still very windy. And Deborah, I do need a cough drop. You are right about that. Joseph, I'm live on YouTube. Just search Josh Johnson weather, and you'll find me on YouTube. Is Andalusia done? Well, let me look. With severe weather, yes. Yeah, the worst of it's through Andalusia now. It's over Opp. It's over Florala. It's over Lockhart. Big mean storms down in that part of the county. But for the rest of, for Andalusia, Point A, Gant Lake, Red Level and River Falls, it's done in Covington. What time will the rain be gone? Jonathan asked, by sunrise tomorrow, the rain will be gone. Is it clear for Tuskegee? Not clear. The risk of severe weather is ended, but it's still going to be rainy there for a while. Is Troy, Alabama done? Gosh, you're really close. The severe weather really right now is a little bit past you. I don't want to give you an all clear just yet in Troy. The back edge of it's moving through now. Give it another, at no later than midnight, Troy is done with this. So it's not going to linger forever. That's the good news, which I dig. I'm into that. All right, it's 11:41. You are watching a Facebook and YouTube live stream about Alabama's always crazy, wild and woolly weather. And boy, do we have wild and woolly weather around here. We always have, we always will. I'm about to show you some more stuff, though, out of the long range. I love the long range, especially this time of year. Look, like in the long range this time of year, you can look one day and it'll show a snowstorm. You can look the next day, it'll show a hurricane. Not really. You can look the next day. The long range computers, if you like science fiction, that's a pretty wild place to hang out. Now, of course, you can't put much stock in it, but you can identify some trends in the data. And that's what I want to do with you right now is just look at some of the trends. We like trends. Let me show you this one. Boy, this is a complicated map. This is the European ensemble. What that does is it takes the European model, tweaks it and reruns it, and then tweaks it again and reruns it, and then tweaks it again and reruns it. And that happens about 50 times. And then we average all those together and get what's called the ensemble mean. It's a very good tool for forecasting. But the thing I would point out to you here, in the long range, you have several nights and mornings where the temperatures are down into the upper 30s and low 40s, which would indicate some frost issues potentially. The other thing I would point out, the trends here, it's going to get warmer at the end of this week. Yeah, by Friday, we warm up quite nicely. It's colder Wednesday, Thursday. We warm up Friday, Saturday, colder Sunday, Monday, warmer through most of next week, but then into next weekend, the weekend of the 15th and 16th, and then the following Monday, Tuesday, we'll likely see a change back to some colder temperatures. Again, that's all in the long range. In the short range, we're tracking on this line of storms. It's over here into East Alabama now. Opelika, getting it. Yeah, check that out. Worst of it, just a little east of downtown Opelika right now. Then back down to the south into eastern Macon County, parts of Bullitt County, Pike County, Brundage, Josie, Banks, Sandtown, Elba, New Brockton, coming into Enterprise soon. Opp and Kinston and Andalusia. Heavy rain, thunder, lightning, some gusty wind in this mix as well. Now, coverage area-wise, this is where things get interesting. So, technically, Lee County is in Columbus, Georgia, and so is Barber County. Now, we tend to cover both counties just because we know that a lot of people in those counties rely on us for weather information. But we are very close now to getting this out of the core of the WSFA area. We're still in Pike, right? Covington, Bullock, Eastern Macon are in our coverage area. And we still have that line is in those counties. And then not in our coverage area, but we cover them like they are, Lee and Barber. So let's keep an eye on Pike. That's getting kind of... You start getting these cell interactions, right? So watch this. So see these cells out ahead of the line? The line will overtake these. And sometimes when that happens, that can very quickly and briefly and temporarily ramp up the wind shear. And you could end up spinning up some rotation and getting yourself in trouble down here when that sort of thing happens. Now, the good news here is so far I don't see any significant sign of anything that just catches my eye. The other piece of good news here is you're really close to the radar. So that means we get good low-level data and we can very quickly assess if that's happening or not. So we're watching it. You can count on us. Bridget, thank you for the kind words. I appreciate that. Connie, thank you for the kind words. I appreciate that too. Yeah, Barber and Lee are not in our coverage area, but we do treat them exactly as if they were. If there's a tornado warning that's affecting people in those areas, we go on. Josh, let's see. You would be excellent leading a weather summer camp for kids who want to break into the world of meteorology. Emily, we actually do that. Did you know that? Maybe she knows that, and that's what she's saying. So we actually have a weather camp here at WSFA. This was one of my, I have about one good idea a year, and that was one of them, is we have weather camp. We promote it on TV. You register. We usually have a ton of people that register, and then we pick 12 winners. It's free. We cover the expense of all of it with our partners and sponsors. But we pick 12 kids. We bring them to the TV station. We do experiments. We go over how weather works. We teach them how to do weather. They actually do the weather live in our Alabama Live and news program that day. It is typically in July. So weather camp, it's a thing. We love it. All right. Big, mean, ugly line of storms. Mike Jones reporting 60-plus gusts down in Destin. Yeah, I buy that. It's this line's packing a punch all the way down into the Florida Panhandle. Speaking of the Panhandle, let's check in down there. Storms headed towards Santa Rosa and Alice Beach and Inlet Beach and Saltbox Lane. Going to get stormy there between 12:10 and 12:40. Notice, too, you get down into Florida, you see a lot more kinks in the line, right? That's where you look for rotation. You see a little kink there, you see a little kink there. That's where you'd be watching for rotation. Again, we're in the Florida Panhandle right now. If you're watching this in Alabama, don't freak out. Don't be worried. We're just looking into Florida because some people watch us down here and pay attention to these lives. But Destin, yeah, really tough. From a wind perspective, this thing is going to produce quite a bit of straight line wind. It is going to go right along the coast. So Fort Walton Beach now, Destin, it arrives around 11:58 to 12:03. Then it gets into Miramar Beach, 30A, Santa Rosa Beach, Seaside, all of that area between midnight and 12:30. It's into Panama City, probably between 12:30 and 1:30. Maybe a little later. Panama City's still a ways off. Big, mean, ugly line of storms. I bet it would be really cool to be looking out over the Gulf right now from 30A or Panama City, looking back to the west into that. You would get an incredible lightning show. So, little beach weather while we're doing this whole jam. Then back into southeast Alabama. We don't see any sign of rotation here. The line of storms still lining up nicely. Strong straight line wind, the concern. So see, like right there, that I'd bet you Diet Coke, that's where a storm merger is happening. Yeah, it looks like it just got overtaken there. So you're getting this storm kind of merger thing near Brundage. That would be an area you got to watch for some rotation to form. That's the kind of thing that happens. So when we say a low-end isolated brief tornado threat, it's those kind of small-scale features that can get us in trouble. So we'll keep an eye on that. Jessica, yes, Montgomery is done. Let me get back to the comments here. Well, we've been kind of playing rodeo cowboy here for a minute, just kind of going for a little trail ride. Kind words from a lot of folks. Thank you very much. Appreciate that as always. Tap that screen and push it through Pike. I know, right? Hey, look, I would love. My wife and kids are home in bed right now. And you know who has two thumbs and would love to be with them? This guy right here. I just double thumbs pointed at myself just so you know you can see it. But yeah, if I could push the screen and get these storms to hurry up, I'd be the first one to do it. Ages for the weather camp, I think we do 5 to 12. Are we done in Prattville? Yes, we are. Lucy, you're fine. Is there around next week, Josh? We don't see anything specific for next week, but it's March, and you're always going to have situations you're watching in the long range. I don't see nothing jumps off the screen right now. There's not a lot of consistency in that 8 to 10 day outlook right now in the long range data. But yeah, I think later this month, definitely. West side of Lee County's fine. Let me just go through some of the locations here. Laura says someone needs to give me a huge raise. I'm down with that. That sounds awesome. Who's not, right? Is Montgomery done? Yes. Josh, my former hometown, Tallahassee, gets it at 4 in the morning. I believe that. Are we done in Prattville? Yes. What about Brundage? It's over you now. The worst of it's in Brundage right now. You need to stay inside, stay away from windows. There has been a little, and I hesitate to even call it rotation. There was a little almost rotation near Brundage a scan or two ago, but it's since dissipated. But so let me show you what I mean, right? Pop into radar here real quick. Up here, I'll pause it. This is in Bullitt County. There's red and there's green, right? There's a straight line. You don't see any kinks in that line. That's good. That's what we want to see. Okay, look at this. You get down here into Pike where you're getting some of these complicated cell mergers, and look, there's a kink right there and a kink right there and a kink right there. That's the difference. When you're a meteorologist on a night like tonight, that's what you start to look for. You start to look for these kinks in the line. You start to look for cell mergers, right, where the line is overtaking even weak cells, even just showers ahead of the line. Sometimes that cell merger process can locally enhance things just enough to spin up a brief tornado. We've seen that a million times. I've been burned by that. So this is experience talking, right? So if any young and aspiring meteorologists are watching this, those are things to look for. So there you have it. That's what it looks like. Again, you start to see those kinks in the line. That's where you got to pay close attention. So we'll just leave it parked down here for now. I'll pull the velocity product back up. I will holler if I see anything that looks really crazy or dangerous in this. Right now, I really don't. It's just something I'm watching. More questions. What time will it be done in Chambers? 1 at the latest. Let me go up into Chambers real quick. I can actually do one better than that. I think Chambers County is pretty well done already. Yeah, Chambers County, it's over Valley and Lynette right now. Give us 10 minutes. About 12:05, this is all done. So Chambers County, you don't have much longer to worry about this. Does Abbeville need to worry about those tornadoes with those cells out in front near Ozark? No, not those. In Abbeville, what I would be worried about is this right here. That's getting a little more supercellular on that southern flank. So that's the other thing we watch for. You start to see this little almost like an S shape within that. That's a sign that we're starting to get a little better organized, what's called a mesocyclone right there. It's a very broad area of rotation up in the mid-levels of the atmosphere. Sometimes, if all the other conditions are right, that's a storm that you'd need to watch, right? It can cause trouble. Now, that said, right now, I don't see anything that just jumps off the screen. There's no need to freak out, worry, be afraid or anything, but that's another thing I'm watching would be the cell mergers and then the storm down there on that southern flank trying to get a little more intense. Ozark, showery now. The worst of it in Ozark will happen between 12:15 and 1:30. Good night, Lucy. Josh, how about slap out? Has it passed? Yes, it has. Worst of it is through Troy and Beauregard. Worst of it is through Troy right now. Blue Springs and Skipperville, you still got to wait a little longer. It's not quite there yet. It's on the way, though. Here it comes. Still going hard at my home in Beauregard. It won't be much longer. This is going to get better. Auburn, Opelika area, worst of it is through there right now. What about Tallapoosa? The worst of it is through there already. Opelika is clearing, yes. It's not quite done yet in Opelika, but you're so close. The worst of it is right there. So like downtown and points west, it's better. Eastern Opelika into eastern Lee, still some activity over there, but give us 15 minutes and this is going to be out of your hair in Opelika. It's moving essentially due east. Joseph asked what direction is the line moving. It's a little complex in that the line itself is moving due east. The individual storms within the line are moving more northeast. My parents are in Florida. Do they need to be awake? No, not yet, but they do need to be keeping an eye on it. And if we see anything that makes me think they need to get in that safe spot, I'll be sure to tell them. And you can call them too if you get wild. If we get a tornado warning down there. Andalusia, you're fine. This is all past you. It's past you. Troy, it's past you. Union Springs, it's past you. Auburn, Opelika, it's passing you now. Valley, Lynette, it's passing you now. Montgomery, it's long gone. West Alabama, it's long gone. Babby, that's in Covington. The worst of it's past you. How much longer for Brundage? Worst of it will be done in Brundage in 15 minutes. Has the worst gone through Banks? Yes, it has. It's still rainy and stormy, though. Can't give you an all clear yet, but the worst of it is through Banks right about now. By 12:15, things will start to get better. Just lost power for a minute in Auburn. I buy that, yeah. Horizontal rain has started in Destin. I buy that, too. We saw that on our camera in Montgomery when the line came through earlier. Watching Brundage, Hamilton Crossroads. Josh, so glad it's over in Prattville. My dog slept through the whole thing. Good on your pup. That's good stuff. Thunder and heavy rain coming down in Jack. I buy that too. Yeah, down in Coffee County. Heavy rain. Thunder, lightning, gusty wind in the mix there too. So that's the lay of the land here at... And yes, Jonathan, I think we'll see some sun tomorrow. And I appreciate the kind words about the technology. Happy to do it. Technology is a huge part of my job. Technology and computers, GIS, data analysis, data science in general. Those are all things that I deal with day in and day out and commit to staying on top of. KML files, KMZ files, GIS, all these things, radar, satellite, remote sensing, numerical weather prediction, how to set up these live broadcasts. By the way, in case you're wondering, for the Facebook and YouTube portion of this, I run all of this off my phone. I'm the photographer, the engineer, the sound guy, and the meteorologist simultaneously. And I actually enjoy it that way. I know the system, I know how it works, and I like that way. That way, if it breaks, I know how to fix it. So there you go. Here's radar again. There you see our ugly line. Right there. Movement is east very quickly. Valley and Lynette's crossing through you now. Beulah, same kind of thing there. Pardon me. Beulah, the worst of it is basically over you right now. Give it another 20 minutes, it'll be gone. Just so you know. Yes, I have shown 3D radar before. We used that to look at the height of storms. A lot of that is hail forecasting, right? These storms are not really prolific hail producers due to a lack of cold air aloft, but yeah, we do look at it. Let's see here. We want to go there. Still make sure we're not missing anything from a tornado perspective. Pike County, worst of it is passed through Brundage now. It stays rainy and windy, but the severe weather threat is over in Pike County. Barber County, Russell County, Coffee County, Dale County, Geneva County is really the only place left where we have a severe weather threat, into Russell as well. So Russell, Eastern Lee, Eastern Bullock, Barber, Coffee, Dale, Geneva, Henry, Houston are the counties we're watching. Need to keep an eye out on that. I don't like it when they get shaped that way. Don't see anything yet. That's good. Again, we're getting sort of on that southern flank, you're getting a couple little notches forming in here. We don't like those, right? These little notches right in here. I'll just circle them. It's probably easier to see them that way. One right there, one larger one right there. Eastern Covington, really more Western Geneva now, and then Southern Coffee. Those are both storms we've got to watch. And then up here to the north, you're getting all these cell mergers, right? The line of storms is overtaking these individual storms that have popped out in front. So those are things we've got to watch too. Good night, David. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Is the tornado threat past Kinston? No, not yet. It is very close to past Kinston, but not yet. Kinston, if you'll wait 15 minutes, it's gone. Josh and Span collab win. Fun fact, you may not know. I actually interned with James Span in the early 2000s when I was still in college. I actually first emailed James Span when I was in like 8th or 9th grade. And he was so helpful and so kind. It helped me kind of know what to do and where to go. And I've learned so much from him personally and professionally. So, and I guess enough time has passed now to where I can say this part out loud. I almost went to work there. Many years ago, I was doing morning weather here at WSFA. And I went and actually interviewed at ABC 3340 in Birmingham with James Span, which was pretty cool. Never dreamed a weather dork like me from Jacksonville, Alabama would ever get an opportunity like that. And the timing didn't work out. We actually talked it all through and had it worked out, but the timing didn't really work out, and God had other plans. So I decided to stay here, and I'm happy I did. So there was almost years of a Josh and James Span collaboration. That would have been fun, I think. Gosh, I could have learned a ton. But yeah, luckily I actually have probably learned more doing what I've done than I would have there, because being a chief meteorologist here, I've had to make a lot of these sort of decisions and learn how to manage a lot of these situations myself. So the Lord has a good plan for all of us. Tornado threat past Elba and Jack. It's past, yeah, I would say so. Technically you're still in severe thunderstorm warning, but I would say New Brockton and Enterprise really is the core of it now. I'm watching Enterprise closely, watching Coffee Springs, Dale, Geneva, Coffee County, Barber County closely. But yeah, you go back to Elba and Jack, most of it's through you now. Heavy rain, that's about it. Enterprise cell showing rotation. No, not yet. Look, the shape of that storm is what I don't like, but when you go in and look at rotation, there's none there. So it's a concerning shape to it, but until we see rotation, there's no reason for a tornado warning. There's no reason for you to get to your safe place, right? So we're watching it. The National Weather Service is watching it. And the great news here is we're really close to the radar there. So we have fantastic low-level coverage there, fantastic radar data from the National Weather Service radar in Southern Coffee County. The radar's over in Dale, but in Southern Coffee, we're really close to it. So I'm going to keep watching that very carefully. Michaela asking about Beauregard. The worst of it has passed Beauregard now. Let me show you. We'll go into our reflectivity, pop up the Peachtree City radar. Remember, Maxwell's down. The East Alabama radar's down, but Beauregard is right out here. And the line of storms is over here closer to Smith Station. So it's still rainy, it's still windy, but the overall condition there in Beauregard is much better. Smith Station, it's coming in right there right now. We just got a comment question about that, about Smith Station. The worst of it is moving into Smith Station literally right now. So it doesn't last long. That's the good news, Smith Station. Crawford, Seal is coming into you now as well. And from there, I'd probably need to switch back over to Southeast Alabama to give you the best look in. But yeah, Smith Station, Mott's, Crawford, Seal, Pittsview, Hurtsboro, Midway, Clayton, Louisville, Texasville, Clio, Libertyville, Blue Springs, Ayrton, Ozark, Fort Novacell, Enterprise, Coffee Springs, Sampson's, where it's at now. It's moving east very rapidly. Opelika, yeah, you're good. It's still rainy there, but the risk of severe weather is ended in Opelika. That is the only remaining part of Alabama with any risk of severe weather. So, Enterprise, Geneva, Ozark, Dothan, Midland City, Headland, Abbeville, Clio, Eufaula, Seal, Hurtsboro, Pittsview, Phoenix City, Smith Station. There's still a risk of severe weather there. Everywhere else in our area, there is no more risk of severe weather. Valley, it's through. You're done. Kinston, it's through. You're done. Lockhart, it's through. You're done. Ages for the weather camp, I think we go up to either 12 or 14. So it's for younger folks there. I think it's 5 to 12. Don't quote me on that though. Let me see if 8 to 14 is the age groups, or is the age requirement on weather camp. And what I'm excited about with weather camp, I'm excited about a lot of things with weather camp, but one of these days I'm going to end up hiring a meteorologist who is part of our weather camp. And how cool of a moment is that going to be? You know, I mean, you're going to get like this full circle thing that something we did years ago motivated someone and inspired them to go out and study something and become good at it and fulfill their goals. So that's a cool opportunity, right? To get to affect people in that kind of way. Andalusia, the risk of severe weather has ended. Whew. Y'all tired yet? Anyone else tired? Just got a wild photo I'm asking for permission to share right now. Someone's pool umbrella was tied down, but it broke. The entire table, umbrella, and concrete holder all went into the swimming pool. That's crazy. So I've asked if I can have permission to share the photo. I've never heard of that happening. Usually it's the umbrella flies out or the table flies out or the umbrella pole breaks. I've never seen it where it's the whole kit and caboodle, concrete base, stand, all of that gets chunked into a swimming pool. That's some crazy wind to do that. Rough in New Brockton. Power outages in Elba. I believe that. No rotation at Enterprise yet. Let's pop back in there and look again. Yeah, still no significant rotation. And look, the farther east this goes, the more it runs away from the high dew points. And so that will continue to lead to a reduction in the tornado risk. It's not zero. If you're in and ahead of those storms, it's not zero, but it is pretty close. Yes, op is in the clear. Cody, we're happy to do it. Danielle, Troy is in the clear. It's still rainy, it's still windy, but there's no more risk of severe weather. In fact, we're dangerously close here to being able to call that for really our entire coverage area. Still watching Barber. The core of it now running into Clayton, Louisville, Clio, and Blue Springs. Gusty wind, the main concern. That goes down into Ayrton as well. Movement with that is steady towards the east very rapidly. Look, by 12:45, this is going to be out of Barber County. And once this is out of Barber, I'm going to wind this thing down and go home and get some sleep because I got to work again tomorrow. Woo! So I'll hang with it a little longer and see what we see, right? Right now there's no severe thunderstorm warning up for Barber County because the storms they're still strong and still windy, but they're not producing damaging wind, right? So, pardon me, man. I'm sorry, guys. Turns out 7 o'clock was a long time ago, right? Now, the other thing I've got to kind of consider here, and this is not fun to have to make these sorts of decisions, I'm still not 100%, and my voice is getting weaker from all the talking I'm doing right now. And if we were to have a tornado warning pop in Barber County, I've got to go on TV and talk on TV continuously with energy, immediacy, and urgency for 45 minutes or longer. So there's going to be a little bit of vocal preservation in the mix here, right? So if I stop talking for a while, I want you to bear with me. It's not that I'm not paying attention. I promise I am. It's just that I got to save my voice a little bit, just in case we were to get some rogue tornado warning down in Barber. Now, Coffee, Dale, Henry, Houston, Geneva, those are all Dothan market stations. So if we were to get a warning down there, we might do a quick update, but we probably wouldn't stay on unless we thought it was really, really bad. But then Barber County, we would probably get on and stay on. Hey, about done with storms yet? Sure, yeah. It depends on where you are. You know, most of Alabama is done with storms. Here's the really wide view. You know, that's the part of the state that we're looking at right now. And every other part of Alabama that's not in that blue little triangle there is done. It's still raining, but there's no more risk of anything severe, damaging, or destructive. So, how fast is the line moving? It's moving east at around 55 to 60 miles per hour. Well, Dustin and Kayla, welcome from Tennessee. We are thrilled to have you here. We're glad you found our weather coverage, and we will do our best to always keep you informed, right? It's what we do. I need to adjust my camera. Remember, I told you I'm on these live streams. I'm the photographer, engineer, sound guy, technical director, and the meteorologist, which is fun. But again, I actually kind of prefer it like that. Okay, Jessica, I would like to nominate Jessica Pittman Lowe as the You Just Made All of Us Mad winner of the day. Here's Jessica's question, and I'm just going to read it. Look, I'm not really that mad at you, Jessica. We've interacted before on these Facebook Lives. I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. Here's her question. Again, I'm just reading this verbatim. In Hawaii, my husband and family are in Crenshaw. Any updates? Fun fact. Guess who else is in Hawaii? None of us. Zero. Literally none of us. And Jessica comes on the Facebook Live flexing on us, saying, I'm in Hawaii, and you're not. I'm just kidding, Jessica. Crenshaw County, it's fine. The bad weather is done with Crenshaw. They had a lot of wind, probably some power outages, some trees down, but no significant damage, no structural damage that we're aware of, no tornadoes, anything like that. Have fun in Hawaii. I want a full scouting report, by the way. I've never been to Hawaii because I'm not as cool as you. So maybe one day. But give us a scouting report. We'd love to hear about it. It would be so fun. Just disappointed. Just kidding. Sounds fun. I have a friend in Dothan. Can you check the rotation down there? Sure. Let's look at it. None. Right now there is no rotation anywhere in this line. That's good news, right? Are you jazzed about that? I'm jazzed about that. I may just leave radar up for a moment so we can just kind of all look at it together. Is the worst of it over in Prattville? Yes, by far. So Jessica's living her best life in Hawaii. That's cool. She says she misses us, but we all know better. That's a lie. Wesley says, I would love to do a Christmas in July with you and your team. I'm not super 100% sure what that means, but it sounds fun. I'm in. Jessica says, it's beautiful and windy as all get out. You poor thing. We are so sorry that it's windy in Hawaii. That is unfathomable suffering on your part. If it is very windy, though, I am happy to swap spots with you. When do you sleep is the question. Not enough. That's when I sleep, is not often enough. That's the only thing that gets me about this job, is the sleep. I don't get enough rest. And I'm not always able to take exceptional care of myself, and I miss some family things because of the hours. Boo hiss, right? Is the wind speed higher the farther up you in the atmosphere you go? Yes, it is. When do you think they will drop us from the severe thunderstorm watch? Any minute now. It won't take long. Birmingham's really good about clearing counties. And Cody, I think you're in Lee, if I remember correctly. So you'll get cleared out of it pretty fast. Still no rotation. Southeast Alabama, east central Alabama. Line of storms now has cleared Lee County. So we can give Lee County an all clear, which is pretty exciting. Switch over back to Peachtree City. Yeah, the line is through now with Lee. Hip hip hooray. I'm excited. I know you are too. So Lee County, all clear. You'll get dropped from that severe thunderstorm watch in the next 10 or 15 minutes probably. Severe weather threat over in Enterprise. No, it's not. It's actually over Enterprise right about now. The good news is, give it 20 or 30 minutes and it will be over in Enterprise. This is moving very rapidly. Watching over into Dale County as well. Storms overtaking the individual cells out ahead of it. Another report from Hawaii. Jessica says it's 8:17 here, and the locals say the wind being as hard as it is not normal. The wind's been gusting over 50 at times. Okay, I was giving you a hard time, but that is pretty wild. Yeah, that's in a way, I guess that's kind of cruel, right? Like, you're in Hawaii, you're wanting to like walk around the beach, but if you do, you're going to get like sandblasted or something. I mean, like 50-mile-an-hour winds would make, like walking on the beach with a 50-mile-an-hour wind would be an extremely unpleasant experience. So I take back all of my sassiness about your Hawaii adventure. I hope the wind dies down, and I hope it's a lot of fun. That's our daughter. It's like Hawaii's like her dream trip, I think. So if she winds up watching this tomorrow, she's going to say, will you take me to Hawaii? And I'll say, that depends. Will you learn to fold your own laundry? I'm not going to say that. I'm just kidding. Because if I said that, it would be hypocritical. Because, friends, I have a confession to make. My mother folded my laundry throughout my entire time living at home. That's bad, right? Yeah. It's her fault, not mine. No, it's my fault. Like, even in college, like, I could bring home, like, a bag of dirty clothes, and then she would wash them, dry them, and fold them for me, and put them in a nice little basket for me to take back to Mississippi State. That's something, isn't it? Like, so I can't really complain about the kids' laundry and them not doing it without being the world's biggest hypocrite. And in a world full of hypocrisy, I refuse to do that. So I'm going to keep on folding their clothes. For those of you who missed it, I had a Facebook post yesterday talking about I am the CFO at our house. not chief financial officer. I am the chief folding officer. So we have a system for laundry. My wife puts it in the washing machine, does all that, dries it, and then I'm the folder. So I come in and do the folding. It's a great system. But we have a teenage daughter now. And I clearly did not fully appreciate how much laundry a teenage girl uses. It's a lot. Like a lot. Like, I'm like, it's not humanly possible to put on and take off this much clothing in a day. Like, I think your leg would fall off. Or you would develop like a skin disorder from taking the clothes, putting them on all the time. Then there's the clothing itself, which, like I said, I grew up, my mom took care of laundry. Thank you, Mom. I love you. I appreciate that. But I grew up around, like I had one brother. I was always around, like I never interacted with young female laundry, right? Like until now. And so teenage girl laundry is really weird because like they wear these shirts that are like crop top or some, I don't know the names, but like if you're holding it and it's like inside out, you can't even tell it's a piece of laundry. It's like a piece of fabric that's got like twist here and this part's tucked under and then there's a tag here and then a label here and one's on the inside and one's on the outside. And I'm just telling you, for a dumb guy like me that's not a laundry pro, it takes me a minute. I'm like, what is going on here? Like this looks like it looks like a fabric, like it looks like a t-shirt got in a fight with a grizzly bear and lost, and what's left of the t-shirt is now an article of clothing. And like, not in a bad way. Like she dresses very like professionally. I'm not saying anything like that, but like it's just like the shape of it. And she's a very small. Our daughter is on the smaller side. So it's. I look at it and I'm like, I don't know what this is. So it takes me a minute. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to go off on that super fun tangent. But dropped in the check on the Diet Sunkist Index, and we're talking laundry. I guess that's a proxy for our level of concern, right? Like, if I'm talking Kessler laundry, we're probably not overly concerned right now. Look, there are no active warnings anywhere in the WSFA service area. The only active warnings we have are severe thunderstorm warnings that affect parts of Geneva, Henry, Houston, Dale, and Coffee counties. Even there, so far, the storms have been relatively well behaved. So Shane says, what's bad is that you went to Mississippi State. Shane, what's wrong with my Bulldogs, man? No, Mississippi State, I'll brag for a moment, has one of the finest meteorology programs, broadcast meteorology programs in the country. So I was proud to go to Mississippi State. And my first year there, I was kind of like, what is, I'm so far from home. I don't know anybody. And a lot of Mississippi State people are from Mississippi, obviously. And a lot of them, grew up together, or they went to the high school a town over, and they had these things in common. And I really didn't, being from Alabama. But then I got into meteorology, and I met some people in my major and moved off campus. And next thing I know, it's super fun. It's awesome. I made some friends, and I didn't do the whole fraternity thing, but made a lot of friends, had a lot of fun. And by the time I left Starkville, I didn't want to leave. It was really a great experience. So if you have family, friends who are looking into colleges, look, Mississippi State's a great choice. And by the way, it's not far at all. It's like an hour and 15 minutes from Tuscaloosa. So, however long it takes you to get to Tuscaloosa, add 75 minutes to that, and you're in Starkville. Great engineering school, great turf management school, great agriculture school, great meteorology school. So that's my recruiting trip for Mississippi State. And by the way, when I was there, Mississippi State had a really good football team. I was there towards the right at the end of the peak of the Jackie Sherrill years, and then the Sylvester Croom years, which Jackie had a heck of a run. right as I was getting there, and then Coach Kroom came in, and we all loved Coach Kroom. The wins and losses weren't in his favor, but that was a tough job he walked into there, Coach Sylvester Kroom. There was NCAA sanctions from the previous coaching staff and all that. They got in pretty big trouble, and then they're playing in the SEC, which is, in those years, Alabama was not what they were with Saban came later, but they were still a tough out. And LSU was winning national championships, and Auburn was having undefeated seasons. Ole Miss had Eli Manning; they were pretty loaded. Like that SEC West, this is back when Arkansas had that run with Felix Jones and Darren McFadden playing running back. That SEC West was stacked. So Coach Kroom, I think, had I would have loved to have seen Coach Kroom get a head coaching position in a different set of circumstances. Where maybe there's not scholarship losses, reductions. I can't remember the details, but I would have loved to have seen him either at Mississippi State in a different time or at a different place under different circumstances. So there you go. You don't drink Mountain Dew anymore. I drink Diet Mountain Dew because I'm trying to be healthy and all. But it's really a backup and always has been. The main thing for me is Sunkist and Diet Sunkist. Now they call it Sunkist Zero. That's my drink of choice. So Aaron says, let it out, Josh. We are here for you. Anybody else wondering whose shoes are under the desk behind Josh? Oh, yeah, that's funny. Those are definitely Amanda's shoes. Yeah, those are Amanda's. Oh, that's funny. I didn't even realize those were back there. It's a good laugh. Well, there you go. All right, Eufaula, here it comes. Storming now. The worst of it is through Clayton already. Let's pop back into radar here and show you what's happening. Back off with that. So the line has cleared. The worst part of the line has cleared Crawford and Hurtsboro and Clayton and Louisville and Clio and Ayrton and Enterprise. The risk of severe weather has ended in all of those cities. It's ended in Sampson. It's over Geneva, Clay-Hatchie, Ozark, Newton right now. It's moving towards Eufaula, Abbeville, Headland, and Dothan. But quite frankly, look, this is the end of it from our perspective. Once this moves into Georgia, I'm going home and going to sleep because I've got another long day tomorrow, and I was prepared to stay here until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And if the good Lord above is kind enough to give me a night with not much severe weather, no tornado warnings, and storms that exit the state early, you better believe I'm going to take full advantage of that gift from above. And yours truly will be safely and warmly in bed as soon as reasonably possible. So don't worry, I'm not leaving yet, but we'll walk these storms through the rest of Barber County, and then after that, anything that were to happen in the Wiregrass, that we have a sister station there, WTVY. They have a fantastic weather team there. David Paul is their chief meteorologist, really sharp guy. Zach Webster is on their staff. Zach Webster interned with us many years ago here at WSFA, and he is a native of East Alabama. He's from our area. So we know Zach very well, and they have a jam-up weather team down there. Ryan Duggar is their third meteorologist. He does a fantastic job as well. So all that to say, if there's a tornado warning in Geneva, Coffee, Henry, Houston, Dale counties, they're going to handle that. Now, you've probably seen us do tornado coverage before. Our kind of unwritten policy is if there is a very significant tornado situation ongoing in any of those counties, we will go on WSFA and cover that too. But we on a night like tonight, we would probably not cover a brief spin-up style tornado down in Geneva or Houston if that were to even happen, which, quite frankly, I think it's kind of a long shot. You're back to radar. There's the line. It is stomping its feet and running out of the room, moving east very rapidly. This is going to be in Eufaula. It's already raining in Eufaula. the core of wind will move there soon. And oh, by the way, the northern part of that line is really slowly beginning to weaken a bit. That's why the National Weather Service in Birmingham did not issue a severe thunderstorm warning into Barber County, and that's the reason why. It's because that northern edge of the line is beginning to sort of lose a little bit of that threat. So, yeah, there you have it. That's the scenario as of 12:30 in the morning here on Facebook Live, baby. I don't know why I did that. Why I talk like that, I do not know. Probably sheer exhaustion. Hop back into some of the comments. I do hope you'll forgive me. Occasionally, I'm going to pause a little bit. I'm trying to preserve my voice. And for those who are asking, okay, that's a commercial.
Saving money nightly while you do it.
WTVY in the Wiregrass is actually on the air right now, doing a little weather coverage. Looks like so they're already on it. They're keeping a careful eye on the scenario. Tiffany, that comment's for you. I think TVY looks like they're on right now. Yeah, if you go to WTVY.com/live, you can watch their live stream, and Ryan is up right now tracking the storms. And David's there too. So they're doing coverage right now. Now, their weather scenario is worse than ours, and they're in a core of stronger storms, which is why we're not on WSFA, just so you know. Like the core of this is already past us, and the strongest storms in our area were passing through Montgomery and surrounding areas during President Trump's speech to Congress tonight, which I would interrupt that if there was a tornado warning or a life-threatening situation, but for 55-mile-per-hour wind gust, I'm not interrupting any president of the United States giving a speech because I don't like to be called four-letter words other than Josh. And if I interrupt the president of the United States to talk about weather, I'm going to be called four-letter words that are not Josh.
Winds in excess of 50 or 60 miles per hour. It's not going to be real widespread, but we will see pockets of 50, 60 plus miles per hour.
Watching a little WTVY coverage here.
But the real strong winds.
When will it be out of Dale County? Give it another 20 minutes. This will be out of Dale County by 1 a.m. at the latest.
Right along I-10, that's one of those pockets where the winds are doing some damage. And that's what we want to focus on here. That's approaching.
And sounds like a lot of their concern is for their Florida counties, by the way. So they're, Dothan covers down into the Florida Panhandle. So they may be concerned there. It looks like Eglin radar has gone down. And by the way, this is not political. This is weather. A lot of people like to tell me stick to weather when I say anything that's not weather. But I'm actually a human being and have all kinds of interests and stuff. This is weather related. This is not political. But, right now we have radars down in East Alabama. The main radar that covers this area is down right now. And then the Eglin Air Force Base radar just went down as well. There's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of cutting going on in the federal government right now. And just me personally, I am all for eliminating wasteful spending. I don't know of any American who would not be, right? As a taxpayer, we don't want any government at any level to waste any of our dollars. I think that's a good, that's uniform, right? Democrats, Republicans, we all agree with that. That's kind of just common sense, right? So right now we're getting a lot of cuts, and some of those cuts are affecting the National Weather Service. And so this is me sticking to weather. The National Weather Service is one of the most efficient agencies in all of the federal government. It generates a massive return on its investment. And it has built, installed, and maintained a network of weather data sensors, weather radars, weather satellites, and all sorts of things you can't even begin to describe, and then it hires experts to interpret that data and push it out to the world and issue warnings and help us at our mission to communicate the warnings to you. And it costs the American taxpayer, you and me, around $3 a year. And I will tell you candidly, I work in private sector meteorology. I don't work for the government. There is not a private sector business on planet Earth who can replicate all of that data, all of that equipment, all of that expertise, who is going to sell it back to you for $3 a year. That is not going to happen. My point being, as a taxpayer, my opinion is we are getting a fantastic bang for our buck with the National Weather Service. Now, look, if they need to reorganize and streamline some things, go for it. But wholesale budget cuts to the National Weather Service are, in my opinion, not beneficial for weather prediction, weather safety, which is my mission, my calling, my career. So again, I'm not taking a political side. I don't like politics. I view the state of politics in America in the last 10 years is something similar to an infectious disease in my eyes. Like, I stay away from it, right? I've seen so many friendships damaged because of politics, and it breaks my heart. So none of this is political. I'm advocating for the National Weather Service. I watched the speech tonight that the president gave, where they named off some of the things that are being spent government dollars on. And look, I don't know. I didn't fact check it. I'm not into that. But my opinion is you could cut a whole lot of stuff before you got to the National Weather Service in terms of efficient spending. So that's my jam. I'm done with that. The reason I brought it up is now we've got 2 radars down on a severe weather night and an already understaffed National Weather Service trying to figure out how to fix those radars. And then people like me saying, hey, we got to have that radar fixed immediately, because I can't help you unless it's fixed. So there you go. Josh, is the Montgomery area your home or where you grew up? No, I grew up in Jacksonville, Alabama, in Calhoun County. Love it there. It's a favorite place of mine. I now live in Prattville. Prattville is my home now. I love Prattville. It's my favorite place. Bedtime in Salem. There you go. Yes, WCTV in Tallahassee covers some areas, but no, Jonathan. WTVY is a Dothan-based TV station. They actually cover Dothan very well. So, yeah, Chrissy says, I'll donate $3 right now. And that's my whole point in this. And look, I posted on X, formerly known as Twitter, about this and had a whole lot of people call me a whole lot of names. My only point, I do not take political sides ever about anything. My only point is, as a private sector meteorologist for the last 22 years and change, there is not a private sector business out there, nor will there ever be one out there, who will launch satellites into space, build the best upper air network in the world, build the best radar network in the world, and sell it back to you for $3 a year. That's not fiscally, financially feasible. There's not a business model in that, right? So as a taxpayer, this is one area where you're getting a very good deal. You're getting a great ROI. So again, enough of that, because I don't want to make anyone mad or feel like I'm against their political views. I'm not. I don't really have any. I just do my best to be the best father, husband, son, employee, friend, man that I can be. And what some people do in Washington or Montgomery or my town or your town politically doesn't really change any of that I just said. So that's how I view it. What time will the rain be gone? Scattered showers linger for another hour or two, and then that's another couple of hours. By sunrise tomorrow, this is all a distant memory. Closing Fort McClellan hurt Jacksonville really bad. Yeah, it did. You're exactly right. I was there. I was there when the fort closed. It was really a tough thing for that area. Jacksonville was hurt, but I would argue, Anniston, Linlock was hurt maybe even worse. That was a really tough thing. Sharon says, happy Fort Novacell radar is working. Yeah, me too. The issue we're in right now, though, there's a big storm over Novacell. So what happens is, see that black dot right there? That's the actual radar right there. So when it's in the middle of a giant storm like that, the radar beam's ability to penetrate all the rain around it gets compromised, right? When there's a lot of rain physically falling on the radome, which is the physical radar, it makes it harder for the radar to see things out away from it. So if we were to have Eglin or Maxwell right now, that would be extremely beneficial. And I would suggest to you that we're really very fortunate that we're not in a tornado scenario having those two radars down. That would put us in a really tough spot in a lot of parts of the state. Now, again, Novacell being up really helps us, but it's attenuated right now, so that does not help us. Got WTVY up over here.
An increase in the winds here over the central and southeastern parts of the Wiregrass. And these winds, when they come in, will have the ability to knock down trees and produce more and more power outages. That is one of these little hook features that we look for as we look at the velocity.
David, looking at the little couple of these little small kinks in the line like we've been showing you. I'm watching them too. There's really no... He's exactly right. What he's saying is what I've been telling you for the last 2 hours. The shape of the storm gets our attention, but then when you look at the actual velocity product within the radar, there's no rotation in it. So that's still the case. Main threat's damaging wind. Whew. Tiffany, I'm not on Facebook. Look, and that's something we all need to talk about here. WTVY is broadcasting live right now on their TV station, and they are live streaming. I know they're live streaming. They may or may not be live over the air. I suspect they are, but they are streaming live on their website and on their apps. So we get a lot of feedback from people mad when we are not streaming on Facebook. But the best way for me to get information out to a large group of people immediately is still not Facebook. WSFA, the TV station, and the app, I can reach hundreds of thousands of people instantaneously on those platforms. So they become the priority, right? Like the Facebook Lives we do are in situations like right now where we're not in a life-threatening scenario. Then our station, if we have the staffing and we know ahead of time, we will stream our coverage on Facebook. But what I would like to ask you to do is check the TV station, right? WSFA.com/live. That's all you have to remember. WSFA.com/live. Go there first, right? Instead of scrolling through Facebook, looking for an update. If there is something life-threatening, I'm going to hit stop on this Facebook Live and walk over there and go be live on WSFA and on the WSFA News app and on the website and on the smart TV apps that are WSFA immediately, because I can reach the maximum number of people and help keep them safe. So I would just encourage you, if you go to Facebook and you're like, you guys aren't on, what's happening? Stop, go to WSFA.com/live, and I bet we're probably live there. If it really is a life-threatening scenario, check there first. We stream it to Facebook as staffing and technology allows. And I will say we do a lot of that. I've been on a Facebook Live now for 1 hour and 41 minutes with you guys because the situation allows it. And because the technology allows it. But if we were in tornado coverage, I wouldn't be, right? Our station page would probably end up sharing it, but the fastest, most immediate way to get the updates is on WSFA, the TV station, and WSFA, the app, and WSFA weather app. So anyway, you didn't do anything wrong. I'm not ranting and raving at you, I promise. I'm just trying to walk you through how all this goes, because we get a lot of that. We really do, about people that are mad we're not streaming on Facebook, and they're like, where are you? I can't believe you went home. The weather's bad. And I'm like, I've been live on TV and on the WSFA app for 6 hours. I didn't get to go home, I promise. So that's my Sermon on the Mount. Check the TV station. Check WSFA.com/live. Check our apps. Each app, the news app and the weather app, has a giant button that says Watch Live. Click that. And you'll be able to see what we're doing live, right? They done got spoiled, is what Kinda Stormy said. Kinda Stormy, that is not your real name, but your point is real right. 100%. You put it on Facebook, they'll expect it to be on Facebook every time. And I will say 90% of the time it is on Facebook. But I'll also say it's almost never on Facebook first. It's on WSFA, the TV station, WSFA, the app first. All right. Leading edge of this is now through Eufaula. It's over Eufaula now. It's raining torrentially with gusty wind. I'm going to carry this out another 5 minutes maybe. And then I'm going to go home and go to sleep, and you can go home and go to sleep, because at that point, this will exclusively be in the Dothan coverage area. It's over Abbeville now. It's moving into Headland now. And if you live in the Wiregrass, you live in Southeast Alabama, and you want more weather coverage, I can't say enough good things about the weather team at WTVY. David Paul, sharp guy, super great meteorologist, really dedicated. Zach Webster on their team, Ryan Duggar on their team. They're all great meteorologists. Same thing with them. Don't go look for it on Facebook. Go to WTVY.com/live, and you'll see it there. You can watch the stream. It's on their app as well. Again, that's if you live down in the immediate Dothan area. The rest of South Alabama, we've got you covered. East Alabama, we got you covered. Central Alabama, we got you covered. But right in there around that Dothan area, that's the jam. So our digital content manager, John Shryack, is on right now with us. And he adds this, and this is good information. WSFA's on-air signal and online live broadcast sync. If we go on the air, we automatically go online on the WSFA family of apps as well. It's automatic. So when there's a tornado warning, I jump on WSFA, and the system we've built is as soon as I'm on WSFA, I'm also streaming live on WSFA.com, the news app, the weather app, and your connected TV, your smart TV. If you've got the WSFA app on that, I'm streaming live there immediately. The Facebook stuff has to be manually done. So again, there's going to be a delay, and there's going to be a staffing challenge to have somebody here that does that. So first place to look, go to the apps. Lillian says, thanks for the info. I do have the app. Didn't know about the button to push to go live. Didn't know about WSFA.com/live. Thank you. Lillian, you are so welcome. You're exactly the person that I was trying to talk to there. And Tiffany as well, the original question. You're exactly the person I was wanting to talk to with that whole kind of speech about that. Was just so that's really the issue I think we face, is people don't know. And we say it a lot, but we haven't gotten that message out to everyone just yet. So thank you. And Lillian, you are very welcome for the information, and thanks for the kindness too. All right, it is now 12:50 in the morning. We'll take one last look around. As the song Midnight in Montgomery says, we'll take one last look around. But we are not going to the graveyard like they did in that song. All right, so there's the line. You can see the leading edge of it now is actually in Georgia. It's through Eufaula. Heavy rain continues in Eufaula, but the severe weather threat is over there. Abbeville down into Henry County, Houston County, Coffee County, Dale County. That's the only remaining part of Alabama with a risk of severe weather now is right here. Far Eastern Dale, Far Eastern Geneva, Houston, and Henry counties. So with that in mind, and me still battling the whatever it is I've got, the flu-like symptoms, leftover flu, whatever, I'm going to wind this thing down, quit talking, and save my voice for tomorrow. Because tomorrow is a new day, but I'm at work again. 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10. A daily live stream on the WSFA app at 5:30. A bevy of weather app videos. And we may even go live on Facebook again just for fun. So, all right, everyone. As always, thank you so much for being with us tonight on this special live stream here on WSFA. On our Facebook page, YouTube page, we've been a little everywhere. We've talked a lot about all sorts of things tonight. Teenage laundry, diet sun-kissed, storms, damaging wind, where you can watch our continuous coverage. We got you covered, I promise. So, appreciate everyone for hanging out. Kind of stormy. Good to hang out with you as well. John adds, if the weather has the potential to be extremely severe, we move heaven and earth to add to Facebook Live. It's just another way to get our signal out. And we do. He's exactly right. My only point in that was if you look on Facebook and we're not there, don't stop and go, well, they must not be on, and get mad at us and not get the information you need. If you look on Facebook and you don't see us yet, go to those other sources, the WSFA app, WSFA.com/live. Go there, check there. Odds are good we're on there. So there you go. Appreciate everyone. Johnson, over and out. Hope you all have a great rest of your day on this Wednesday. It's March the 5th. Man, oh man. That is something. March 5th was my brother's birthday, and it just occurs to me that dude would have been 40 today. That's tough, man. I didn't really, I'm kind of realizing that with you here with me. So there you have it. For those who don't know, he passed away back in 2015, 10 years ago in October, but would have been 40 today. So there you have it. Always something, isn't there? Appreciate everyone for your time, your effort, your energy. Hope you all have a wonderful day ahead of you. I will do the same, and I'll see you on WSFA 12 News coming up at 4 o'clock later today, 4 o'clock this afternoon, not this morning.